Hello guys, this is the TheDragonicEmpire here, and we're here
Hello.
with a discussion video. Going to be talking about the big decks that are topped in regional
Well, basically, we're
team
just going to be
regionals.
discussing our take on the current
Yeah,
English meta of the game.
and how the new decks that have been released now may well affect the team tournaments coming up and the meta in general.
Yep. So, I mean, looking at team tournaments in general,
Mm.
starting from Germany up until New York and France and whatnot, we
Okay.
see very little Link Joker players, really. There's no... Invaders haven't really made their mark.
I suppose, but you could argue there aren't that many reverse decks for them to play.
Yeah, that's precisely the point. I mean, when team tournaments began, what set was out? It was set 12,
Yeah.
wasn't it? So Link Joker players only had the big boss of Nebula Lord, which is pretty good. It's all right.
In terms of Nebula Lord, I think it's not a bad deck on its own, but there probably weren't enough decks to support it at the time as teammates.
I mean, yeah, that's true because the reverse units back then were just Lucia, Vowing Saber, and Amon.
Vowing Saber is a pretty good deck, though.
Yeah, but you can't have one Link Joker player and two Vowing Saber players.
No, that's true.
But Lucia is pretty good. I like Lucia.
I would think a team of Lucia, Narrow Reverse, and Nebula Lord wouldn't be too bad, to be honest.
No, but I think a lot of people were more anticipating Chaos Breaker.
Yes, they
And
probably just
obviously
saved the
that
money for
wasn't
that.
released. So, yeah, Link Joker players or Invader players didn't really have quite enough support to make an impact.
So I would say definite prediction is you can definitely expect to see an influx of Invader players, especially
We can
using
see,
Chaos Breaker now.
we're starting to see like a gradual, steady increase of Invader players. We've got people playing the Pale Moon Circus, they're playing Amon, obviously Link Joker. You can see the percentages gradually increasing as each team tournament comes round. They're about 22%-ish coverage now. In the most recent one, which was in New York.
Okay.
So they're still not making like a massive impact because they're still.
Are we sure what sets are available at the time, or is this set 12 era?
No, this is moving into set 13 as well.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
I think by the time New York Regionals was taking place, set 13 pre-releases had already happened and whatnot.
Okay, that's still not enough time for a lot of people to get
Yeah,
their decks together.
That's I think the point I'm trying to get across here is the because they haven't had enough time to gather the cards they necessarily need.
And Chaos Breakers being a bit uncommon as well. I think we got like 4 in a case or something like that.
Yep.
That was rough. Anyway, let's see. Some of the top players, I believe, were using Shadow Paladins, is that correct?
Yeah, basically, in terms of team tournaments so far, defenders have overwhelmingly just... It's very one-sided to defenders. That's because of the numbers. Because there's obviously much more defender players than there are invader players, so...
Right, yeah, that's going to have a huge impact.
So all the topping defender decks, or defender teams rather, they incorporate one Shadow Paladin player within their team structure.
Okay, that's cool.
So I'm pretty sure most people can guess what Shadow Paladin deck it would be.
Just the Break Ride, right?
Just Break Ride right by itself, yep.
I actually really like the Break
Proxy and
Ride.
Drag Rulers. Well, yeah, set 12 was already released, so Raging Form was just huge.
Oh yeah, there was so much hype for that card, and it's not bad actually. It's not a bad deck.
It's alright. It's like a better version of Spectral Duke, I guess.
Yeah, you could say that, definitely.
At the same time, having like the extra card in your hand for the Persona ride can be a bit awkward, but you've got the Grade 3 Searcher, Creeping Dark Goat, the promo card, so...
Yeah, and you can set your field up pretty well with some of the searches as well.
Yeah, you can set up a nice field, you can set up the field to destroy the field later, but...
Yeah, you don't neg yourself too heavily in that regard.
It definitely has a decent mechanic to it, which is what appealed to most people, and people love Restanding Vanguard, so you know that thing is going to be popular. So yeah, all the top defender teams had at least one Shadow Paladin player.
So you can probably still expect to see a lot of Raging Form players around.
Yeah, I mean...
I think with Link Joker, though, it's going to have a bit of an impact on the Shadow Paladin players, because if their units are locked, of course, they can't sacrifice them.
I mean, if like in the area video we shot with you playing against Shadow Paladin player, you couldn't use Drag Ruler because you locked 4 of his rearguard.
That was so funny.
You locked 4 of his rearguard, so he couldn't actually use Drag Ruler's effect to force a damage on you. But he double critted you anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, that was a little salty about that. Oh,
But,
well, it was a fun
yeah,
game.
Link Joker are definitely going to have much more of an impact now that set 13 is definitely within full swing.
Hmm.
And
Definitely, we got a lot more reverse decks to choose from as well.
yeah, set 13 introduced Angel Feather, Great Nature, Dimension Police,
Nova Grappler.
Nova Grappler, Granblue.
Oh, of course, Granblue. They're gonna break the meta.
Yeah, they introduced much more reverse units, so there's we can expect to see more of Invader teams, I think.
Oh yeah, I definitely see you can expect more, especially if they release a Chaos Breaker. That thing's probably going to be just as hyped as Raging Thorn was.
Because our team tournament in Birmingham is going to be on the 28th of June, so if any of you guys are around for that,
yeah, come on down.
Come on down. It'll be nice to see some of you guys if you guys are around.
And that'll be after the pre-release for sets, the extra boosters too. So we should probably.
That'll be after the release of those extra boosters.
Oh right.
Extra booster 8 and 9, Champions of the Cosmos and Divine Dragon Progression, are set to be released on June the 6th. And team tournaments is on June 28th.
So they'll have more than enough time to build their decks. So yeah, I should probably expect to see some of those decks too.
The prediction that I'm coming up with is every Invader team will have one Chaos Breaker player, and every Defender team will have either one Grade 4 Kagura player, Novella Vogue.
I can expect that to be around a lot.
Yeah, and or some people could be playing the Galaxy Blaukluger. He's a pretty solid card.
It's true. I did have a look at some of the Japanese meta toppings around the time of set 15, when Glendios was a thing. And the top decks that were topping were 13 Glendios decks and 13 Novella Vogue.
13 Novella Vogue.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been testing or proxying the Grade 4 Novella Vogue.
Which is a dirty card.
It's very consistent with Conroe in the build. I can see why they've limited Conroe.
Oh, it's crazy good.
It's far too consistent. You can just swap that Grade 4 for the Grade 3, so you're guaranteed a break ride. It's so good. And the Silent Tom effect is just, oh dear.
It'd be interesting if they don't ban Conroe over here.
It'd be interesting, actually, yeah, that's true, because over in the English side of the game, we've been having staggered releases. So, somewhat. I think we had sets 1, 2, 3, and 4. Skipped out set 5 completely.
I think we had 1, 2, then we had 6, and then it tended to jump between the first and second generations for each set.
Was it 1, 2, then 6?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you could be right.
Yeah, because I remember it was we had Soul Saber Dragon, and then we had the Limit Breakers.
Yeah, we jumped straight to 26k Vanguard attacks, which is like, whoa.
And then Tsukuyomi wasn't quite as popular over here.
What is this magical power?
I think that's what they tried to deter, really, was Tsukuyomi coming as big over
here.
here.
Yeah, because they saw what happened in Japan, where Tsukuyomi, Dragonic Overlord the End, and Majesty Lord Blaster
were just the top decks.
Were just prevalent forces. So they tried to fix that in English, except what they ended up doing was
making golds a thing.
Gold Paladins were everywhere. Like, absolutely everywhere. You can see first and second place in Worlds 2012 being 2 Gold Paladin players. Winner being Spectral Duke, Brandon Smith, I believe his name was.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And second place was Garmor Pelennor by, what's his name? Henry, I think.
Ah, fair dues.
Don't know about his surname. Sorry about that.
Oh, we had it on screen.
Let's have a look. I'll look at the teams breakdown. Just to pick a team that catches my eye.
Sure.
Okay, Team Balls Check from the Philippines. They had Oracle, Think Tank, and Spike Brothers. They were a defender team.
That's very interesting. We've just released...
Oracle and Spikes is very interesting because Oracle quite defensive, Spikes quite aggressive.
I suppose it gives you a bit of variation on the team.
And then you've got Shadow Paladin, so there's no variation in the third slot there.
No, I suppose not. The Oracles is very interesting. I'd be very interested to find out what they're actually playing. Especially with the...
I could imagine it either being
They've got the new extra booster out recently as well.
Yeah, that break ride is pretty damn good. And of course, after 12 sets of waiting, Nubatama players, finally...
Oh yeah, great.
Can start playing that hand control mechanic.
It's very interesting. They've only got a rainbow set of triggers to work with, but it's going to be a very decent control deck.
Very decent deck. I mean, I think we can expect to see a few more of those. Cause
oh yeah, I would definitely say you can expect
you
to see some
can kind of
players.
view Nubatama as somewhat an anti-meta, kind of.
And Actually, Murakumo kind of was as well for a while when they had that
Oh yeah, they
you
had
had to
that grade
discard
3
to
where
ride
if
card.
you rode a grade 3 on top of a grade 3, you had to discard a card, I believe.
That was weird.
So yeah, they finally got some more support. But again, top decks at the moment are going to be the ones to watch out for. Are going to be Chaos Breaker. Raging Form's still going to be around, whether you like him or not.
I would say like
Really-
Spike Bros is a deck that can catch you off
Really
guard
down to
as well.
preference. Spy Brothers don't really see too much love, to be honest.
They don't, but like, I feel like there are a lot of players who are a bit inexperienced against them, and they're the sort of deck that can really catch you off guard.
Yeah, much like Grand Blue can, though.
It's true, but they don't nearly have as much of an explosive play.
That's true. But yeah, it's nice to see a bit more variety in terms of deck building now.
Oh yeah, definitely, and like we've got a very varied meta right now.
We've got a somewhat varied meta right now. You can definitely see the top 2 decks being Chaos Breaker
And Raging Form.
and Raging Form, and the Grade 4 Kagero Novella Vogue when he comes out.
Definitely, yeah. Even the
So-
Nova Grapple Blau deck seems pretty devastating as well.
Yeah, Nova Grappler Blau deck. Beast Deities in general are pretty strong.
If they can pull off their break ride, it's pretty devastating. So
I mean, now with set 13 out, they're definitely like in full swing Beast Deity mode, because they've got their Perfect Guard, they've got all their 10k vanillas and stuff like that
indeed.
to make the deck work consistently with a special counterblasting and whatnot. So we should hopefully see a few more of those players. I mean, hopefully it won't be like a bandwagon thing again, where everyone jumps on the Gold Paladin or Raging Form bandwagon for a bit.
I think there are a lot of big decks that are going to see some play, especially with the extra boosters being released, and with a lot of the new Step 13 stuff we got, we're going to see a lot of those decks.
Yep. So hopefully, like, the meta diverses a bit more.
But I still,
Because at the moment, it's just Chaos Breaker and Raging Form.
I can still expect, I imagine anyway, that a lot of defender teams are going to have a Shadow Paladin player playing Raging Form and a Kagero player using the Bella Vogue if they can afford it.
Yep.
So, big decks to watch out for.
Big decks watch out for in terms of defenders. In terms of Link Joker, obviously Chaos Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of Invader decks that can support them, Dark Dayusha.
Oh yeah, definitely Dark
Definitely be on
Dayusha.
the watch for him, because the Break Ride Dark Dayusha is pretty scary.
It's a lot of guard. You best hope you keep on those null guards, or just be on a damage where you can afford to take the hit, I suppose.
We'll just hope they don't drive check grade 3s.
There's that too.
What else have we got? The Great Nature reverse card is pretty cool.
Yeah, combined with the break ride, that's quite an explosive term in itself.
Obviously, the Ethics Buster reverse deadliest, can potentially get you 8 attacks in 1 turn. So again, pretty deadly.
If they don't get off the break ride and they've ridden that thing first, however, it's not going to be nearly as an explosive term, but it you probably will have them on the ropes by that
They
point.
do have that.
They're
Amon's
quite
pretty
reliant on their
solid.
ride.
Amon's pretty solid reverse card.
Yeah, it's quite a defensive deck and can put out a bit of power.
So yeah, the Invaders have definitely got more options, so we should expect to see a few more Invader teams just cropping up.
Even standard reverse Eradicators with those 3 boss vanguards, it's pretty decent as well.
Oh, well, thank you.
As a reverse deck though, I feel like the Eradicators now are coming because of their prevalence in recent tournaments, placing 3rd to 9th place.
No, but the Eradicators, at Worlds, the reverse wasn't released yet.
Oh, it's not?
No.
I still feel like it's a bit more consistent with that instead of the break ride, however.
I don't think many people at Worlds even played the Break Ride, to be honest. 3rd to 9th place was all Narukami Eradicator decks. Back then it would have been set 10, so that would have been Descendant
And
Gauntlet
Buster.
Buster builds.
Yeah, not bad decks.
Pretty good cards, pretty good decks.
Good for early and late game rides.
I mean, reverse is pretty decent as well, and yeah, well, Narukami aren't going to go anywhere anytime soon.
No. I imagine they're not going to be like top tier, but they're definitely going to be a problem to watch out for anyway.
They're going to be impactful because they've got cards like Linchu and stuff that helps them put out the pressure.
They'll be prevalent.
They'll be prevalent.
But once, actually, we're not going to see Gold Paladins taking up nearly as many spaces.
Yeah, Gold Paladins have really dropped in terms of popularity, which I think is a good job. Good job in terms of Bushiroad trying to diversify the meta here.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, it's definitely good to see Gold Paladin Liberator players, but I think some people don't like seeing just one deck being played, so the drop in popularity anyway, will be good.
So, yeah, hopefully people are going to be playing a wide variety of decks to make this game still very, very interesting.
It's always nice when someone can catch you off guard like that, and then you want to build the deck for yourself.
And then Grand Blue.
Of course. So no one's going to expect Grand Blue, to be honest.
No, it's good deck. Except it does require some skill to set up and try and make sure you don't deck out with it.
If your opponent plays against you defensively as well, it's one of those decks that can burn out pretty quickly.
Yeah.
It's basically if you know how to play against it, you've won. But it's definitely a good deck. I really like the reverse. But if you use the Break Ride, oftentimes you don't even need to use the reverse effects, so you can play big turns like that.
True. Very true. But I think that's our take on the current 2014 English meta.
Yeah, what you guys can expect.
This is before the release of the extra boosters for Nova Grappler and Kagura. They're going to shake things up a little bit. But at the moment, as it stands, it's Chaos Breaker Raging format.
As of now, but I imagine for team tournaments coming up, we can still expect those extra booster decks a lot.
It's nice to still see like Kagura in terms of Dauntless Drive the End still about, but...
I can't imagine it's going to be as popular with Vogue being a thing around the corner.
Yeah, it's not going to be as popular anymore. The End is slowly fading away.
Until we get the Break Ride, anyway.
Oh, that's going to be so nice. But yeah, the top decks are still basically like stuff like Kagura, Narukami, Link Joker, Shadow Paladin. Royal Paladin seem to be flying below the radar at the moment, I think.
It's not, to be fair, I really wouldn't know what to expect from standard Duel Knights these days myself.
But they're going to come back in terms of Legion, so...
That's true.
It's nice to see them, like, recycling ideas and...
Actually, saying that, looking at the, I believe it was after set 15, the Glendios Novella Vogue list, and Seekers had 3 decks as opposed to the 13 for Glendios and Novella Vogue, so they might not be as popular.
Maybe it's the whole Legion thing, they got to turn 2 cards around to attack.
Possibly is. Maybe they run out of time.
I mean, like just to point out, can you imagine a Legion for decks like Dark Irregular?
Ooh.
With like a massive soul stack and trying to balance 2 cards on top of it? It's going to be some kind of like helicopter contraption. It will be interesting to see how they develop Legion style decks and plays.
I mean, it's going to be a whole... I would say it's not going to be a whole new game, but it's going to be a whole new way to play when those decks come out.
Yeah, which keeps the game fresh, I guess, and...
We'll have to touch on this in another video anyway, because I feel like we're like going off topic a little bit.
Yeah, we're going off on a weird tangent here, but basically, top decks being... What did we say again?
Raging Form, Chaos
Breaker, and the Grade 4 Kagura as soon as it's released in the English format. And definitely going to make impacts in terms of team
I think Nova Grappler's going to be pretty terrifying as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely decks to look out for, guys.
Yeah, so let us know what you think in terms of what decks to watch out for. What decks do you not like to play against? What decks do you prefer to play against?
Yeah, what decks are you guys using for teams as well? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, like what sort of decks are your favourites to play?
Grand Blue, of course.
Grand Blue all the way. But you took out Cutlass, how could you?
I know, rip in peace, Cutlass.
Rip in peace, Cutlass.
Anyway, we'll let you guys go anyway. Leave a like.
So yeah, leave us a like if you enjoyed the video, as that helps us out a lot. Subscribe, so
if you want to see more content.
And
we'll see you next time.
All the links you'll need are going to be down below.
Of course.
And we'll see you next time.